wake up and welcome to another episode here for the Funkit Pod. It's the weekend and you know what it means. We're recording the Funkit Pod. It's been another week, 2 weeks actually. Been sick, been stressed, grading final exam papers and so on. So forgive me for being MIA, but we're back. We're back with all things that make the Funkit Pod. We're back with society, media, martial arts, NFTs, I don't know, throw them in there, cats, relationships, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all those things and more now here in the Funkit Pod in the next few minutes. So stay tuned, check it out, indulge, enjoy, share the love, whatever you want. I'm still a bit sick, out of the weather, not COVID. Yes, I tested, not COVID, just a cold, I guess. We had graduation ceremony the other day, like a week ago or so. Thousands of people obviously coming together. I always get sick. I'm always the guy who gets all the, bacteria from everybody. So a bit under the weather, but not too bad. But that's why I'm shaven here right now, in case you're watching the podcast video. Other than that, all good. And we can jump right into it. Okay, so as per usual, I start with like one category, then go to the next one, and so on. You know how it works. And this week we have to start with something serious. It is serious, and I struggled for a while. And I prepared a podcast. Like, should I talk about it? Shouldn't I talk about it? Because I'm not an American. I don't live in America. However, I'm human. And I work in education. Now, I don't work in primary education. I work in higher education. But still, I have lots of friends who work in primary education. Also here in Bangkok, from where I'm recording. But that doesn't really matter because, the main point is we're human and we all seen the shooting in the US. And since then, another shooting happened, not in a school, but another shooting happened. And it's such a, like, this debate has been going on in the media ever since I remember consuming media, like news and so on. It's always been about guns, gun controls, don't take my guns away, Second Amendment right, defend myself, I need guns, and so on. Right. And we're not going to solve it. I'm not going to solve it like on a podcast that like a few thousand people only listen to. I appreciate you though. But so you know what I mean. We're not going to solve it, right? However, I can't, I don't know, maybe I just want to talk about it for like a 5 minutes or so with everybody watching / listening, just because it doesn't make sense in my head anymore. I can't ignore it anymore. So you're like, yeah, the American, you're like, yeah, it's just America. It just happens in America. If I would talk to an American, and if you're American, I'm not insulting anyone, but if we talk, right, we meet, and I tell you, hey, cool, nice meeting you, blah, blah. So I live and work in Thailand. The American would be like, oh, well, it must be dangerous. Oh my God, Thailand, oh, right? I've been here for 10 years, and of course there's crime. Of course there's people stabbing each other, shooting each other, and so on. There's crime. Crime is everywhere. But I've been working in education for 10 years, and neither back home in Europe, nor here in wild Asia, in crazy Thailand, where everything's dangerous, have I seen a school shooting happening. And while I'm the first to say that obviously things aren't perfect here, like far from it, obviously, and I'm not going to go into detail because I need to keep my visa, so of course, but no place is perfect. But that school shooting is such a thing, such an American thing, and we just accept it. It's ridiculous. And this needs to stop. And yeah, I know it's in the culture to have guns, to bear arms. Awesome. Great culture if you need to bear arms because you're scared otherwise. And the gun lobby and the politicians and all those things, I understand. However, And I really have to applaud Steve Kerr there. While I was rooting for the Mavericks in the NBA semifinals, conference semifinals, Steve Kerr's outburst in the press conference. If you haven't seen it, YouTube Steve Kerr shooting. Got really emotional. He said, "F this. I'm not going to talk about the game right now. I'm going to talk about what happens there, and we need to step up and stand up." And so it was really good. Like, yeah, maybe that's what's needed. I also saw Andrew Schultz, of course, roasting the police department in what's it called, Uvalde or whatever. Haha, yeah, funny, great Schultz. I mean, he's good at roasting things, but I'm over making punchlines out of that, because as soon as you make a punchline out of it, I understand how satire works and all those things, right? You're making a punchline out of it just to exaggerate and extrapolate and tell the people or show people how ridiculous it is. And yes, it's true, but it's just not funny. And I mean, that's a completely different argument. So if you enjoyed what Schultz did, great. Not here to hate on any comedian or whatever. Who would I be to hate on comedians? And I usually enjoy the Flagrant podcast, anyways. But back to the topic at hand, right? Why is America so stupid? And yeah, we have to call it what it is, right? The land of the free, land of the dreams. Everyone can come and forge their future, their fortune, blah, blah. As long as you don't get shot, it is, right? You can make your dreams come true if you don't get shot in America. That's how it is. And it's just, I can't fathom. So first, I'm an educator, right? Okay, but I'm at a university, so I deal with grown-ups, so it's different. So, but even if I would have to deal with this like on a level with grown-up students, it would freak me out, obviously. But having to tell like kids like what to do in case a shooter comes in, or what in the world? Or like you bring your kids to school, you think they're safe, and then you go to work, so you think they're in a safe place, and now you have to like, what do? You call the school every 10 minutes just to check in. Like, I don't have the words to explain how angry I am, how sad, how angry, how confused I am that in 2022, right, all the information that we need, that we want, everything is there. But yet, the world police, the land of the free, the land that everyone dreams of, has become the land of nightmares. And of course it's politics. Of course it's lobbyism, all those things. Yeah. So we understand why it all happens the way it happens. But it doesn't mean it has to keep happening. And it's easy to blame the politicians, and I do obviously blame the politicians for taking the money from the NRA and then just, whatever. Yes, blame the politicians. Blame them for playing the politics game, because that's what it is. Right? It's a game of power. And shame on them for not stopping the game here and just coming together to change. And then you play again, all right? Keep playing the game, but in issues like that, you should stop playing the freaking game. Come together, change whatever legislation in this case, and then you go back and then you hate on each other again. Great. I promise we're still gonna support you, gonna hate on you, whatever. But what the and change is one thing, and then come together, because we both sides should understand that this is bullshit, right? And of course, so blame the politicians, blame, and now here we go with the podcast. Of course, we blame the media. The media, we know this. We talked about this. It feels like 1,000 times on this podcast already. Of course, the media is super happy about shit like this happening. When shit hits the fan, the media is happy, right? We talked about it. We talked about all the theories that are behind it, and I'm tired of it by now, because I'm so emotional right now. So we talked about like how media outlets benefit from from moral panics, for example. If something bad happens, then the media, of course, blows it up. In this case, and of course, the media that's on more on the left wing, I guess, that are like anti-gun and so on. Then they're blowing it up, of course. But then, of course, on the other hand, then the right-wing media shows them stats that show like how much worse it would be if people wouldn't have guns and whatnot. So, and it's not not guns kill people kill people. Yeah, people with guns kill people. If that person wouldn't have had a gun, you think that person would have had killed how many? 19 kids? Probably not. Well, in this case, maybe even he might have killed 19 people with a knife because the police didn't do shit and was just waiting outside for whatever fucking reason. I'm sorry, and this is not gonna demonetize with all the swear words, but if you're in the police, you have one job: is to protect people. Children in particular, and you didn't do anything. What? Like completely separate from, yes, blame politics, yes, blame the media, and back to the media in a second, but completely separate from this. What in the world? This I don't understand. Then you shouldn't be a police officer, you shouldn't be a cop, you shouldn't be like whatever SWAT team bullshit it was. Like, go back to play computer games if you want to be like, yeah, I'm in a SWAT team, and then you don't do shit. Got so many swear words, I'm sorry, but I don't understand. Back to the media issue. This will continue, right? The media's not going to stop. It's just like what I said earlier, stop playing the game for the politicians. The media should stop playing the game too when it comes to things like this, right? Like important things, the life of children. Stop the freaking game, Fox, CNN, whatever is in between. They get together, force the politicians' hands, and then you go back to like hate each other. And we're gonna be with you again. And then we're going to hate on Brian Stelter or whatever, and on Anderson Cooper and whatnot. But for this one moment where we all agree children should not die, get together. Get your shit together. Now, if that obviously won't happen because politicians are a-holes, media, and I work in the media people are a-holes, at least the ones in charge, the ones benefiting from all those things. So then there's only like one group of people left that can change something. That's the people. And yes, I know it's easier said than done, but if you see nothing changes, if you see kids die, and kids that are neither left nor right, their parents might be, but the kids aren't anything. So you can't be happy about anyone dying, right? So then the people should come together. But of course, they're not, because even the people enjoy the separation, this division. Like, I'm a team left, I'm team right, I'm team red, I'm team blue. Hey, Spooky, right? So, hey, don't kill my camera. For the listeners, one of my cats just jumped here on the desk and sniffs the camera stand. Okay, now you turn around. Okay, great. Yes, you can sleep here, Spooky. The only way to keep me calm when I talk about this topic is when Spooky walks in, so that I have to calm down. Okay, but back to the point, and then we move on, right? So the people, even the people, you, me, we are all happy to be in those different teams. We're right. No, we're right. In moments like this is where we should be human, should be like, I don't care which team you're on, I don't care which team I'm on. It's not about my team winning, about your team winning. It's about keeping our kids alive. So F this, let's come together, force those a-holes to make a change, and once we achieve this, we go back to hating each other. If we want to. But it's never gonna happen. And I hate to say it, especially not in America. And now people are going to say like, oh, why are you hating on America and so on. For the longest time, my dream was to go to the US because everything is bigger, better in America. Even like not only as a teen, yeah, of course, as a kid, but even as a grown up, when I was working now in higher education, for a long time, I was like, man, I wish I could work with with the MIT Media Lab, for example. I did some work with Stanford and was like, man, Stanford's really cool. I wish I could work at Stanford Uni or at San Diego State, for example. Like I did research like about like university in my field, and I was like, man, I wish I could work there. Yeah. I still think those institutions are awesome, so I'm not hating on any of those institutions. I just don't think the American system is awesome. And I have right now no desire of traveling, living, or working in the US. And to come to this realization for myself is a bit disappointing because it was like one of those bucket list items. I want to live in the US, I work in the US for at least for short term. Yeah, not anymore. So, I mean, it's not that anyone cares, of course, but I'm just trying to explain my personal journey thought process because I just don't see anything changing. Let me know what you think, of course. Maybe I was about to say maybe I'm over exaggerating, but I don't think you can exaggerate when it comes to the life of children. Yeah, but let me know what you think. Whew. How do we get out of this intro for the next segment? The next segment, that's a tough cut now. And the next segment on my planning in front of me is to talk about MMA. And I'll just try to like move on because we also need some entertainment and some sports in our life, of course. And then we can see at MMA, for example, we can be in different teams again. We come together, fix the gun problem, and then now it's gonna hate on each other again, being in different MMA teams. No problem.